Rob, you've been with Everyman Legal since January. What was the decision that you made to join Everyman Legal? What was the tipping point?
Well, for me it was the fact that I had been with my previous firm, Manches, for 24 years, and I had reached my official retirement date. I was 62. So I had no choice but to leave. There wasn't really an opportunity to stay with Manches because, well, in this day, business isn't expanding, and you've got quite a number of good young lawyers who need to develop their own careers, so you can't stay there at the top and take up space. So I had to leave at my retirement age, and as that date approached, December last year, I had to think, what am I going to do? And I must say it was quite a traumatic period of time, because change is always very worrying for anyone, and I didn't know what I'd do, except for the fact I'd land somewhere. Didn't know where, but I'd land up somewhere, carrying on doing what I do, corporate work.
What's the best thing about working for Everyman Legal?
Well, flexibility is a hugely important thing, I've discovered. The idea of getting up in the morning and deciding, shall I work from home? I can work in the office, and I do from time to time. The sense of freedom that one has. The problem with big firms, and the big advantages of big firms, but the big problem with big firms is and the corporate environment, is the inflexibility that surrounds that. And increasingly, I think, shall we say, the focus on daily financial reports and on masses of internal meetings, many of which you wonder, are they worth it? So you're spending a lot of time not on productive work. And here, we've got much less of that. There's very, very efficient focus on the back office arrangements that there are, and you certainly need them. But I think it's more focused than it is in a much larger corporate environment. So I find that quite good.
What about things that you don't like about working for Everyman Legal? Are there any things?
I haven't been here long enough. I haven't found any. To be honest, when I first thought about working for Everyman Legal, or anywhere that was going to be a virtual firm, as it were, a firm that encourages solicitors to work away from an central office environment from home, I thought the real problem would be, well, how do you communicate with colleagues? How do you get a sort of sense of belonging? How does it work in terms of the back office support? And it really has not been a problem at all. I'm amazed that I've been here 8 months now, 9 months. I've worked with most of the lawyers. Being a corporate lawyer and doing corporate business, I can't do everything on my own. Employment law I don't do, not much anyway. Property I don't touch. And these two areas in particular, I've brought in colleagues within the Everyman network, and it's been excellent. So the sense of belonging is there, encouraged also by the occasional get-together. Had a very nice one here, our 4th birthday, a couple of months ago. And the communication's easy, of course, with the modern technology. I say modern, it's a bit old now, but it's a good way of working. So no, the worries that I had about working with Everyman Legal, communication, sense of belonging, no, it's not a worry.
What's your ambition for your practice, and how will Everyman Legal help you realise that?
Well, I'm primarily a corporate lawyer, and one of the big problems I think clients have with corporate transactions is how much is it going to cost. And the difficulty with corporate transactions is how long is a piece of string. And it's quite difficult to control costs, and clients like to know, obviously. And traditionally, you in corporate firms, you quote your daily rate, your hourly rate, beg you, not daily rate, your hourly rate, and to give an estimate. And then you argue the toss about fees after the event, but keeping your clients informed as you go along. At Everyman Legal, the model is to go for fixed price. And so it needs a lot of careful thought as to what the transaction is likely to entail. It needs a lot of careful structuring, because obviously there are variables in corporate deals, and those variables do occasionally have to be reflected in the price. But at least by developing packages of fixed prices in advance, we can allow the clients to control their costs and do that before the work is done. And that's worked very well for me in the transactions I've been working on in the last 9 months. And of course, by doing that, you build a good relationship with clients, and you've got a better opportunity, I'd say a special opportunity, to develop that area of work versus the competition.
Working within the Everyman Legal structure, how do you manage your workload?
Well, no differently from anywhere else I've worked in before. Mind you, I've only had 3 other places of work. I've just finished quite a complex transaction involving jurisdictions in China, Thailand, America, and here. And it's worked very well. I have worked to a certain extent here in the office too. I've had tremendous backup from the secretaries here and from our young assistant, Ed Beryl. So it's not been any difficulty, I must say.